and welcome back to day 3 of the Big Moves AI Content Mastery Summit. My name is Simone Leah, and I am so excited to be here with you guys today and to be here with my co-host, the amazing Mitch Asser. Hello, Mitch, and thank you for being here.
Hello. Great to be here and back again.
So good. It has just been the best time. I'm so excited to see everybody's questions today and what they're rolling out. Today's sessions were all about AI video content creation. So we had some awesome stuff from Ryan Robinson on how he turns his videos into his blog posts, which was super cool and so very practical. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Jerry Potter, who talks about creating a lead generating YouTube channel, which was obviously awesome. Also super cool for those people who are wanting to build a YouTube channel or a personal brand or anything like that, making sure that you've got that solid foundation on how you can use AI to turbocharge that process is amazing. We also had David Altizer talking all about creating epic AI thumbnails, which was super cool because this is literally what he does. So we're learning from the best there. And then also Christine Morel, who's talking about creating funny AI clone ads, which was super fun and just so much more different to what we thought it was, considering she doesn't have this massive tool stack or anything like that. She just is a girl doing something that she really enjoys really, really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. We are super excited to see any questions you've got. So pop them in the chat below. And as Mitch has said a couple of times now, if there's anything that you can do to really help yourself this week, make it saying hello or asking your question or connecting with us in some way, because that is going to get you a little bit out of your comfort zone and moving forward, because we are here to answer everything you've got. So how did you enjoy today, Mitch?
Yeah, again, they're all great. And I just want to reiterate the thing that I've been saying all week, which is the talks that people are putting together. There's a very common theme, which is that they're all saying, go that extra mile to create the content. I think it was Jerry who was very specific around saying that nobody should be scripting entire YouTube videos with AI. Nobody should really be coming up with ideas based on AI. However, I find so many people want to do those things because it's so fast and easy. But if you do that, then by default, you're going to end up having the exact same script or the exact same ideas as everybody else, because AI is serving the same ideas to millions and millions of people every single day. So yeah, all of these workshops have the one thing in common, which is go that extra mile, pull in different data sources, do some actual work yourself first. So we get a tendency to be lazy as humans when these types of tools come out, but it's going the extra mile that makes all the difference. So yeah, that's my biggest takeaway again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's so important when it comes to anything to do with business. It's not necessarily about recreating the wheel. It's about seeing what's working and then adapting it to yourself. And that includes your content. You can take the best script in the world that someone else has done, and it just won't land if it's not really relevant to you and your audience. So you do want to take what works and then make it your own. And that's just a huge business practice in general. I think it doesn't matter if you're using someone else's launch strategy or whatever, you still need to be making it all your own if it's content, launching, YouTube videos, all of that sort of stuff. So I love that reminder. So today, Mitch and I had a little bit of a conversation about showing you guys the back end of how we automated making thumbnails in for this event, how we set up that process so that all of the stuff was kind of sucked out and it just magically happened. Also, we want to dive into some of your questions if you want to post them in the chat. And I do have some of the video related questions also here that we can go through. So where would you like to start today, Mitch? Do you want to show the back end stuff, or would you like to go through some questions?
Yeah, I mean, we're still waiting for some questions to come in, right? Or do we have some backups?
I do have some spare questions that have come through that I just thought could be good questions just in general for the whole audience.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So, and actually, this one actually leads into the back end. So maybe I'll do another couple of questions, okay? So we had someone ask here about making an avatar for Reels on social media and some of the easiest ways you can do that. And I know that you yourself, Mitch, have mentioned that in different countries, you can't necessarily access different softwares. So would love to speak into some of the ways they can do this. Now, I'll give my answer first because I'm still going, sorry, Mitch. But I know yesterday I showed you guys a tool where I just straight up uploaded my photo and it turned into an avatar straight away. And that was from Australia. So that is one piece of software that you can use from anywhere. And it made me an avatar in literally like 4 seconds, a nice little video avatar there. You guys literally saw it happening. So that was a super easy way. There are softwares as well, like 11 Labs, things like that, where you can get them to have your own voice and sound. And another way you can do that, obviously, as well, is by getting yourself a VPN, which I also have one of those because sometimes I'm traveling in different parts of the world. So that does let me access different software. And I have noticed with something like CapCut, if you guys have used that, if I'm set to the American version of CapCut, I actually don't get anywhere near as cool like tools in the version of CapCut that I do in the Australian version. So that would be 3 ways that I could come up with pretty fast for how you guys can create videos and access video software from literally anywhere in the world. But what do you want to say about AI avatar creation, Mitch?
Yeah, I guess to me, when they're talking about AI avatar, I make an assumption that they're probably talking about their own avatar and that they want to reproduce videos with that avatar. So if that's the case, then I think the leader in the market that most people use is HeyGen. So HeyGen, they've been around for a long time now. They've developed a lot of really great extra tools inside of there. But you then have the ability to create as many, I mean, depending on the account that you pay for, you can create as many avatars as you want as yourself, but you could also create other avatars as well. And then they have integrations into different tools like 11 Labs in order to do the voice. So the most important part of training any type of avatar tool, whether that's voice or image or video, is the input that you give it. So we did dozens of videos on our YouTube channel that didn't get any traction at all as a test with HeyGen for basically all of last year. And the avatar that I gave it was me at home in a home studio. The lighting wasn't great. And it didn't really produce a very high quality style of video. So it's probably partly why the videos didn't work so well. What I did during the Christmas break is I went to a content studio and I recorded like an hour of footage that I could then train the HeyGen avatar with. And the quality is 10 times better. So now we have used that in a couple of videos. We're not doing that so much anymore. Like I'm pivoting away from doing so much content and we've just got some other things going on. But it's a 10 times better video than what we had previously. So you need to, there's so many content studios around now, you can literally just go and pay for an hour for maybe $100 or less and get enough footage to train an avatar that you'll then be able to use over and over again, no matter where you are in the world to create that. The big lesson that I learned, it may be different for people in the US, but a lot of these models are trained heavily on US data, like US language and voices. So it finds the US voices very easily when you're training it. So you need to upload I think 2 to 3 hours of your talking to 11 Labs, train your voice, but it doesn't get other accents beside the US very well. Like the Australian accent's not so great. It always tries to make me sound American. So that's the harder part at the moment is if you are not American, then it's a little bit harder to actually achieve a full avatar. The way that we're getting around this is I'll still record the script just with my voice. So I don't have to worry about setting up a camera or anything else besides just having a good microphone. And I'll read the script with my voice. And then we just put the avatar on top with the tools inside of HeyGen. So if that is of interest as well, if anybody who buys the AI Content Lab Pro Pass, we have 30% off with HeyGen for 3 months. So just that HeyGen alone would almost pay for the entire cost of the purchase for you. Plus you get all of the extra other stuff and the $10,000 plus of other discounts out there for the different AI tools. So those options are available for you as well. But yeah, it's definitely possible to use these tools The other caveat that I would say is, if you expect to just upload an avatar video as if it's without any editing, meaning you're just going to upload like a 45-second video and do nothing else at all, it's probably not going to get any traction. Where these avatar videos are working well is where you're adding extra B-roll or animations on top, where you're showing the avatar for maybe only 3 to 5 seconds at a time, where people kind of know it's AI but some people don't. Like it was Simone Ferretti who was talking about how a lot of his friends didn't know that he was sharing AI images and videos and stuff. So like if the content is good and the editing is good, then these videos can definitely work. But if it's just a AI avatar video for 40 seconds, it's probably not going to work. Yeah, that's all I have on that.
I love that. Thank you. And I will also say as well, like if you're someone who's watching these sessions and you're getting really, really overwhelmed, I do want to say that something is better than nothing. Because I did actually ask Christine Morel this exact question on whether or not she trained her ads into using her voice or not. And she said she opened 11 labs, tried to do the training, and now she doesn't even use it. Now we're talking about someone who's just putting out ads. We're not talking about a YouTube channel, so it doesn't necessarily need to sound like her. But for her, if she was to go and do 11 labs every time, well, she just doesn't do it. You know what I mean? So in the context of if you are just doing ads or something like that, from Christine Morel's own words, she found that she still got the return even without training the ads to sound like her. Now, obviously, also she is American, so what was coming out of the apps was sounding a little bit like her anyway, accent-wise. But I do want to say is just start doing something, and as you go, you can allow yourself to improve. So if in the beginning you do just you're just like, okay, I'm just going to nail actually making the avatar, and I'll just let an automatic voice go on top of it for a couple of days and a couple of goes while you figure it out. That's totally okay if that's where you're at. But as Mitch says, you do want to be putting out quality content. So you do want to build on what you're doing as you go and bring in that authentic voice. And especially if it is long form content like a YouTube channel or something like that, you absolutely do want to be training it in your own voice. But yeah, if it's something like ads or something like that, even Christine Morel is just kind of like, just get it out there and see what happens, you know? So just a little food for thought there as well, guys.
Awesome.
Amazing. Now we have got a couple of questions that will be covered in the sessions. So we have questions like, how precise do your prompts need to be? And how do you write AI content so it doesn't sound like AI wrote it? So these were questions that have come up, and I just want to quickly address them as well, because they were quite a common theme in some of the questions we received. And so you are going to see sessions, say like with Jonathan Mast, that are really going to go into this particular thing. But essentially it is what Mitch is saying about the quality of the prompt that you give it and the quality of the information you give it is what you're going to get back. So if you're just uploading 5 lines and expecting it to replicate your voice, that's not going to happen. Now, I have seen people upload 20-page documents using the language they use, the offer they're selling, their own history, their own bio, you know, all of that sort of stuff, so that the AI really gets an understanding of the type of content that you would like produced. You can even upload, this is what I do myself, is I actually upload the transcripts of 2 or 3 of my own YouTube videos so that it knows my exact language. So the more you can actually give it the information to help it to sound like you is what's going to work. And back in the day, you used to see a lot of entrepreneurs, and they would literally outsource their content creation to other humans, to other copywriters, and they would literally write the content for them or the copy for them on their landing pages. Now with AI, we are actually essentially doing the exact same thing, but we're getting a much better output because we can put in all of that data beforehand. So what I would say on that is watch the videos with the guys on this event who are talking specifically about this, like Jonathan Mast, and spend the time, even John Ting as well, he talks about this, spend the time to train the AI in your voice and your language, and then you will actually get a really, really good output. It doesn't necessarily need to be a 20-page document, but do spend a little bit of time putting something together so that the AI can, you know, start to engage in a way that is more natural to you to save you the editing on the back end. And saying that, still read it and make any changes you need to before you post it. Do you have anything you would like to speak to on that, Mitch?
I mean, when we first started building, we used to use a mental framework, prime, prompt, proof. So priming it with all of your brand context and context it needs. The prompt is self-explanatory, and then proof, like what is the example that you're trying to go for? Like, give it enough information to know where it's trying to head to as well. Which is now ours a little bit more in depth. So we'll do like brand context, prompt context. This is the prompt that we require. This is the output example, an example of the output we're looking for. And this is the structure of the output that we're looking for. So whether it's Markdown, HTML, JSON, whatever we're looking for. So it's a little bit more in depth, but that's like when we're building these systems and automations and stuff, we go a little bit further. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, good to know. And yeah, that is the thing, guys. Go that extra mile if you really want to build a solid brand, because that is what's happening at the moment is people are building solid brands that are quality. So the next question I want to bring up is the question that's going to lead into your demonstration, Mitch. And it was, my number one would be best practice automations and workflows for content creation for various target audiences between Airtable, N8N, and Claude. So let's dive into this today, if you're ready, Mitch.
I'm ready. All right.
I'm super excited. From day one, I've been like, people need to see how cool Mitch's systems are. So...
yeah, I mean, I'll keep it on brand today with today's topic, which was around video. So this one's specifically around the thumbnail process. So the way that we do the thumbnails is, I'm just going to show you what happens after it's been automated, but you don't start here, right? So firstly, once it's automated, we have our thumbnail style. Like, what is the style that we want to create? And I don't know if I can't click into, I can. So we've just gone and found a whole bunch of YouTube thumbnails that are out there for podcasts for this style of, like for this system, because we're essentially replicating what the thumbnails that you would do for a podcast. So we have those loaded into our database. And we can select these at any time to train the workflow on this specific style. Now, one thing that is a little bit different to what we do, so like, let's come down to this one, Diary of a CEO thumbnail, is if you look at what they actually do, then they have a little section at the top here with I think it's like their logo and maybe like an episode number. And what I found is every time, if we didn't edit those things out, and same as like, I think this one as well, it's got maybe a little logo somewhere. If we didn't edit those out in the training image, then like 50% of the time when we're generating our own images, it would keep the logos in there as well for these other brands. So again, it comes back to quality in, you get quality out. And so what we did is we just removed all the logos from these styles of YouTube thumbnails, and then we started using them as training images, and we got way better results. So you can simply do that just with AI and just say, hey, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a logo, remove that logo, output everything else 100% the same, and it will just do that for you. So once we have the training images, we then come down to we then feed in our brand palette. So we create this in our brand section of this system. We then have our title IDs. So I wanted to create thumbnails with 3 different titles. So we have an automation that splits the 3 titles into what's called different items inside of the automations. And so that it will create 3 images for us when we actually trigger this workflow. We then can select the AI image model. So when we first started, we were using Gemini 3 Pro, which was Nano Banana 1. Now we're using Nano Banana 2 because it's cheaper and better. We then trigger that workflow, and what will happen is it will drop in all of the different styles here as we trigger the different styles. And then I can click in and approve them if I'm happy with them. So let me just come back and see if let's come down to these ones. So these are all the different approved ones. So what I generally do is we get three images generated per record here, and then I'll either delete the ones that aren't that great, or I'll just not approve the entire record at all. But once it's approved, they then all drop in here. From here, I can then see them visually next to each other, and I can choose the top 3 that we then want to split test on YouTube. So I'm not sure which ones I grabbed here, but there's 3 of these that are split testing, or will be split testing once these go out on YouTube in the next couple of months sometime. So that's what the system does for us. Now, all I need to do to trigger this is choose the style, choose the image model, make sure we have a title in here, and then hit this button. And then it just goes off, takes 2 or 3 minutes to create. And then while it's creating, I'm working on all of these other parts of the workflow. So that's how easy it is once it's automated. But you don't start here, like I said. So in order to get started, then we do everything manually first. So we're building like a clips channel right now. So these are some that I did just this week. And it's the same thing. Like, we don't have a dashboard set up for the YouTube clips yet. So I'm just doing them manually. So in order to create these ones, let's go into the prompt first, and then I'll show you why I left some of these images in here that Simone would not be very happy if I shared them on our YouTube channel. Cool. So in order to create this in FreePic first, then it's the same process, right? So in this first image here, I'm uploading the example. That's not giving us a very good look at it. Let's see. I'm not sure why it's square, but it shouldn't be. But like, let's pretend that's a wide image, right? It's a Jay Shetty YouTube thumbnail. So I'm saying I'm uploading that into image 1. I'm uploading Simone's image into image 2 and my image into image 3. And then I'm saying to the AI, create me a YouTube thumbnail like image 1. Use it as a reference image for style and quality. However, change the image to light mode, whitish background. Add one speaker on the left and the other speaker on the right. Blend them in nicely. Add a Shure podcast mic in front of their face slightly. Ensure that each speaker is looking directly at the lens. Output them 100% exactly the same as their image to maintain character consistency. Add a title in the similar style to the reference, and add the title in all capitals to the thumbnail. You're missing this. So that's what it did. It then produced this image here. It produced multiple. I click it multiple times because, as you can see, and this is what I was coming back to, sometimes it doesn't always get it correct. You can see down the bottom there, like, that's not really Simone. It's changed the image quite a lot. And there's actually way crazier examples that just look totally different. So I would say the accuracy on these, I mean, you can kind of tell. The accuracy on these are kind of like 80 to 90%. There's always going to be a few that are not generating correct. But for 8 cents an image, it doesn't matter. I'm totally okay to generate 4 images for every single prompt and choose the best one out of those. It's still way quicker than going into Canva or hiring a VA and paying $10 an hour for very average looking thumbnails. So that's basically what we do. And then we will just refine this prompt as much as we need to until we get a strong consistency that it's getting it quite right a lot of the time. I don't know if this prompt is different. No, maybe that one wasn't different. There were some other prompts here somewhere where it wasn't as detailed as this, and it took me like maybe 3 or 4 times to get the prompt up to scratch. There was another thumbnail down here. We're going to talk about ads tomorrow, but there was another one down here. Let's check this one out with Simone and Molly. Oh, that was an editing prompt. My bad. So you can also do that though, right? Which is if it does not get it 100% correct. So here, still don't know why this is making it square. Anyway, here, when I first generated this thumbnail based on the Huberman Lab podcast, it kept the Huberman Lab in the actual thumbnail itself. So if it ever does that, then you can also just reprompt it again one more time. And then I said, edit this YouTube thumbnail, remove the Huberman Lab logo at the bottom of the page, output everything else 100% the same. And then that's what it did for us. So it then removed that, and then it was fine to be used. So yeah, that's just a quick look at how we would generate our thumbnails. So again, like we're doing it manually in here first. We're getting the prompt that we require, and then we will build out a database that pulls in all of the different data that we need that is based on that prompt, and then send it through NAM in order to create this output. Yeah, any questions?
Yes, questions. How is that connecting to this dashboard here?
How is what connecting?
Like, are those thumbnails actually getting sucked into that dashboard, or is it completely separate?
No, these two tools are completely separate.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking.
So this in here, we're doing all of this manually. For me to upload these to the channel, I need to download them from here, go and manually upload them. So this is just like a sandbox to test all of the different prompts. Once we have the prompt, then there's the NAM workflow in the background. So we trigger the NAM workflow with this button here. It's a webhook, which pushes all of this data into the workflow, and then NAM will then send it back into a different table that we then have over here with all of the thumbnails.
Amazing. Thank you. And also, just for the people who don't necessarily know, like, what is it that made you pick the thumbnails that you picked as the ones that you wanted to use as an example? How did you know that they were going to be really well converting thumbnails? Is it just that you were like, I like the look of these? Or was there something that made you go, let's emulate these thumbnails?
No, I mean, I look for the best in the world when I'm trying to replicate workflows. Like, there's a reason why these different podcasts are the biggest and best in the world, right? It's because they've split tested so many more times than anybody else. And there's even like the person behind Diary of a CEO's podcast, for example. There was a period of time where they were talking about how many thumbnails they split test per episode. It's upwards of like 80 to 100 thumbnails. So if you can find those like people sharing about their split testing and their frameworks of what they're doing to become the biggest podcast in the world, then why would you not want to replicate them? I think the stupidest thing you could do would be trying to do it yourself and trying to do it your own way because you believe that your way is better. Maybe it is, but I think you're getting lucky if it is, rather than starting, okay, these are the top ones in the world. Let's start here first as like our foundation. Like, let's start here and then begin to make small changes in the direction that we want to go for our branding and for our style. So rather than just starting from scratch, that would be a way better decision. So yeah, that's what every business does ever when they're trying to build a business, is like, who is the best in the world? Let's start there as our foundation and then move it towards where we actually want to go and where we think we can do better.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you. I also do want to go a little bit off book. Anywho, we actually, I know you guys would have seen this in the videos. We also made little infographics per speaker as well. And I do want to add as well, what we did to do that, I don't know if Mitch wants to dive into it in more detail, but what we did to do that is we actually uploaded the transcript of the episode or of the video of the session into the actual like back end, what you can see there. And that's what actually made that infographic. And I do want to say that when I was doing that process, because at the end of every session, I would say, hey, where can people find you? What are your actual details? And whenever I did that, what I noticed was if I left that in the transcript, the infographic would draw on that and like the person's details would stay in there. And when I didn't have that in there, the person's details wouldn't stay in there. So it really is super important, as Mitch said, with the images, what you are feeding it. So if there's specific text you want, don't have any other text in there. As Mitch said, if there's specific logos on your example versions, make sure you take those logos out, because the AI AI is literally only going to put in there what it thinks you want in there. So it's going to find what it thinks is important. And I'm pretty sure too, like AI, it's like logo, that must be important. Or like person's name, that must be important. So it sucks out what it's thinking is the key information to create whatever output it is that you're after, whether that's a thumbnail or an infographic or anything along those lines. So just be very conscious of just some of those little things, like even with your words, that you can take out if you don't want specific words in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good tip.
Yeah. Do you want to show a little bit of how all that works, or is that too naughty today?
No, I think we can definitely come back to that at another time. I want to leave it there. I don't want to go too far off topic today. So let's leave it there for the thumbnails. But if people are interested specifically in the infographics, then we might be able to have time tomorrow to put that together as well as part of like the ad graphic component. So like we could tie it all in together. But for that to happen, people need to start commenting and sending us an email, making sure that we are providing what you want to see. If you don't want to see it, then, or if you don't comment, then we just think that you don't want to see it. So make sure you send those in and we can put that together for tomorrow for sure.
Amazing. Well, we did have another question on automated content creation using agents. What would you say to that? I'm not as big on the agent world as you, and I automate aspects of my content, but not so much. What would you say about people who are asking about automated AI content?
I mean, it's the word agent has been thrown around for so long now, and I don't know, I would have to understand what they mean by agents. I would assume, based on the latest trend, then they'll be talking about like OpenClaw is probably the agent that they're referring to. But again, it just depends on how well you are training it. From my perspective, even with these workflows, I don't allow the AI to post anything until I've seen it, and I'm still editing 90% of the outputs a little bit. Like it's getting better and better all the time, but I would never. There's no chance, based on what I see every day to day and what we've built. There's no chance I would build like an AI content agent, because again, it's the content it depends on also the content, because there's a lot of content that is just repetitive, right? So a lot of that can be done by an agent for sure. But when it comes to content that gets views, that goes viral, there needs to be some human creativity. Like it just comes back to how LLMs are built, which is pulling in all of the data to find the mean or the average of like all of these different data points, which is essentially the average human. I don't know many people who want to watch average content. Like people want to see exceptional stuff. They want to see things that are different. So like that's the hard part with content, right? Now, can you create content at scale and put out tons of posts all of the time? You can, 100%, but will people see them? I don't know, like maybe if you're lucky, or maybe if you have an existing audience, people will put up with it for a little bit of a time. But yeah, I don't think you're going to grow too much with that. And I love AI and I use AI every day, and I think it absolutely will change the way that we work in the world. But I'm still not very bullish on like giving an agent full reign to create content right now, at least. Agents can be great for doing like really heavy load stuff, like scraping different data, reading dozens of transcripts, emailing people, like all of the stuff that just takes a human a lot of time to do. Agents are probably fine for that at the moment, but yeah, I wouldn't go down the content creation route. Like there's so many tools out there that are pulling in different data sources from viral content and stuff like that. Then I would probably move that way a little bit. But again, it also comes back to how much you want to train it. You could probably train an agent for a week and then it could do good work. But there's already tools out there that have been building for 2 to 3, 4 years that have already done the training. So like, why not just use those tools at the moment? So yeah, it's a hard question to answer. I flip back and forth on maybe it can, maybe it can't. But yeah, to me right now, I would give it another 6 to 12 months, because in 6 to 12 months, it's the same cycle as what I spoke about on day one. when there's a new thing that comes out, it's 12 to 18 months until it actually becomes useful for real businesses. Because it needs some extra time to develop and actually become good. The first hype period is just like a new way to do things, and the only people who make money during that period are content creators. But 12 to 18 months later is when those tools actually become really good, and that's when businesses can start using them and using them effectively. So yeah, OpenClaw has been around for what, 3 or 4 months now, so give it another 6 months and it might be good then.
Absolutely. And I will also say, if you guys want to watch Dr. Nikki Sweeney's session, she actually talks about how she does have an agent write her newsletter. Now, she's been in this industry working full time and fully involved in this industry for more than 4 years. And that's how long it's taken her to start to build something that can actually do what she needs to do in a newsletter capacity. But when we think about a newsletter is generally a very structured document that has the same kind of format that works. She already trained it in the format that she likes. So to have something like that be automated, where it's more of a nurture as opposed to something that's supposed to go out there and generate new leads or go viral or anything like that, it is slightly different. So if you guys do want to see how she's done that process to, over the years, build something that she's now starting to trust to do her newsletters for her full time, like once a week, and it scrapes things from her calendar and articles and that sort of stuff. But she has spent a lot of time training that, and she's very advanced in the world of AI in general. But that is a different form of content. So it is the context of what your content is trying to do will also change whether or not completely automating it with an agent is the right move for you. And I'm totally 100% with Mitch when it comes to something where you're trying to generate leads and build your actual brand. I definitely think that needs that human element of you kind of going, okay, this isn't me, this is me. Okay, these words are wrong, or maybe this isn't hitting what I need it to hit or whatever. And I really do feel that because it's our own personal brand or our own business that we're building, we really do need to be very on top of the content that's going out for the fresh eyeballs. So yeah, just keep that in mind as well as the context of what it is you're trying to automate and create that agent for.
Yeah. Let me just contradict myself, because here's what I would trust an agent to do. If I was building a personal brand or a business that revolved around me, and let's say I was doing 5 podcasts a week and like 3 or 4 YouTube videos, I would be okay for the agent to pull in all of that content that is by me from my own voice, structure it and distill it down into like key concepts, and then create newsletter content on top of that. Like, I'm 100% okay if you have an agent built to do those types of things. It's more just coming back to the point that we're talking about a number of times now, which is if you're just asking the AI to go and generate its own content ideas, then that's where you're going to be falling on deaf ears. So like again, it comes back to like, how do you structure it? There's so many different things to think about rather than what do you think about agents? It's such a hard question to answer, as I don't know what people mean by that. So yeah, hopefully that was enough to answer all questions.
Yep, I love that. Another question we have had is, I'd love to learn more ways to streamline creating processes and frameworks using AI and best practices when doing so. In your opinion, Mitch, what is the best way to go around that?
Can you just say that again? I'm not sure I understood it correctly.
I'd love to learn more ways to streamline creating processes and frameworks using AI and best practices when doing so. So if you were wanting to create processes and frameworks, where would you start?
I mean, I wouldn't use AI. I mean, the way that we do it is if we do it more than once, then we record a video and then that's the process. Like, I don't think you need to think about it any further than that. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. Love that question. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or should we dive into sharing tomorrow?
There's one question in the comments.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Yay. So we've got John who said, I created 30 posts with text and images. What is a good method or platform for keeping all that data organized? Ooh, do you want to answer this one, or do you want me to? We can both answer.
Jeanette, right? So I mean, there's so many tools. Notion is one, is a good way. I mean, I don't like Notion, but a lot of people do. My favorite is obviously Airtable. That's to me, that's more intuitive for me. I think both of those tools we have discounts for in the AI Content Lab Pro Pass. Airtable, it's $1,000 credit that you can use, even if you're an existing Airtable customer, so that you would immediately get a massive return on your investment there. You could use this as simple as Sheets if you wanted to. If you're paying for Google or Microsoft or whatever, then just using a spreadsheet. You'd be surprised at how many companies are built entirely off spreadsheets. I remember seeing an article last year that one of the biggest Formula One brands was built on a spreadsheet. They tracked like 24,000 parts with a spreadsheet. So yeah, there's there's so many brands out there built on those. So I mean, it really just depends what you like best. To me, for my way of thinking and how my brain works, Airtable is my favorite because it's a little bit better than a spreadsheet, but it's closer to a database as well. It's like a good in between of both. The one thing I will say is the place that you don't want to keep everything organized is on your local computer. Like, computers go down all the time, they mess up. You need to keep it in the cloud, some sort of cloud software, in order to keep it organized, so that if you do have any problems, you don't lose everything that you've created. So yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'll give you guys what I've used as well. Is like, I've worked with companies that are, $50 million companies, literally just running off Microsoft Excel and Word documents, the whole thing. I've also, for me personally, I am very much an Excel girl. So my evolution was from Excel to Google to Airtable, because I like that format. Same as Mitch, I just really like that format. And there are other things that come out. And for me, anything that's too busy just adds to like my non-happiness in my brain. So I like things to just be a simple plain Excel spreadsheet or a simple plain Airtable document. Now, I will say that I have worked with entrepreneurs in the personal brand space who are making over $1.5 million a year, and they're still running everything out of Google Drive. So they're using Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets. I'm also working with other, at the moment currently, I'm also working with other entrepreneurs who are running everything out of Airtable. So it really is just whatever is going to appeal to you, because as long as you're tracking everything you need to in a systemized way, that is what's going to help. That is a solid foundation for the business, and is what's going to help you to move forward and be able to correlate what you need. But yeah, moving forward, something like Airtable is probably the best way to go, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any more questions?
I mean, if they come in before the end, then we can answer those. But yeah, let's dive into tomorrow.
Okay, amazing. Right. So tomorrow's going to be a super exciting day because it's all about AI growth and sales. So we've got Scott Alford in, who was a phenomenal interview. He's been in business for 4 years. If you're wanting to build a personal brand or be a coach, you will have heard of him because he is like one of the top leaders in his field. And he was talking about how you can use AI to build out your entire product launch, which was honestly just such an amazing session with like so many little gold nuggets that you guys will just be blown away. So definitely jump into that one when it comes to understanding how you can launch your products to actually maximize your return. He was saying on this session that for him, if he wants to run like a workshop or a webinar or something like that, it's worth the 6 figures to him to run that. So automating that process so that he can do it every second week and make 6 figures, like why wouldn't you do it, So that was an amazing session. We've also got Molly Mahoney coming in, who's going to be talking about how to build AI agents that sell without being spammy. She's another one who, if you guys want to learn how to program things to not sound like someone else, like if you want your AI agents and your bots, all of that sort of stuff to sound like you, this was a great session on that as well, because she really dives deep into developing that brand voice for yourself and also not making it sound super spammy, which sucks. We've also got Rana coming in, who's got 3 AI agent strategies for generating LinkedIn leads. This was really cool for the people who aren't necessarily using your Facebook and your Instagram and your meta ads, that sort of stuff. LinkedIn is not dead, guys. So this was a super great session for that. And Simone Sauter, who shared how to show up in ChatGPT. Now, this was a really cool one because back in the olden days, we would all type into ChatGPT you know, hair salon or business coach. Whereas now we're finding that AI is what most people are referring to for those recommendations of who they should work with or what they should like, what service they should use. And so her session really talks about how you can show up in those AI searches and maximize that to build your own authority, which was super, super awesome. She also shares a strategy that she does on how she gets on podcasts every single week. So for those of you who want to actually be showing up more, that was an awesome session for that as well. So tomorrow is a big one, guys. There's lots in it, so many little things that you can take from every session. And yeah, I just think you need to be there, write your questions down, and then come in and chat to us tomorrow, because we are here to answer all of your questions live.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, I think that's it for today. Thanks to everybody who tuned in, anybody who's watching on the replay. And again, yeah, let's get those questions in. We can definitely answer those tomorrow as well. So I think that's it, Simone.
Oh, hang on. We've got a question. This is a great one. Thank you so much, Jonette. She said, this was yesterday, but I wanted to mention that I love Jonathan Mass session because he showed step-by-step processes that I could test in real time. Absolutely. And that is what we've really aimed for in all of the sessions. Obviously, so glad you enjoyed Jonathan's session. I loved it myself as well. He's amazing. But that's what we've aimed for this summit, is stuff that you can literally implement on the session or straight after the session without having to do any more learning or hunting or whatever. We've tried to build this in a way where you can implement straight away. Is there anything else you want to share today, Mitch?
No, that's it. I think today has been great, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Yay! Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye.